श्रीपाद श्रीवल्लभत्वं सदैव श्रीदत्तास्मान् पाहि देवाधिदेव भावग्राह्य क्लेशहारिं सुकीर्ते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। त्वं नो माता त्वं पिता प्तोऽधिपस्त्वं त्राता योग क्षेमकृत् सद्गुरुस्त्वं त्वं सर्वस्वं नो प्रभो विश्वमूर्ते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। पापं तापं व्याधिमादिं च दैन्यं भीतिं क्लेशं त्वं हराशुत्वदन्यम् त्रातारण्यो वीक्ष ईशास्त्रजूर्ते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। नान्यस्त्राता न पिता न भर्ता त्वत्तो देव त्वं शरण्योकहर्ता कुर्वात्रेयानुग्रहं पूर्णराते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। धर्मे प्रीतिं सन्मतिं देवभक्तिं सत्सङ्गाप्तिं देहि भुक्तिं च मुक्तिं भावासक्तिं चाखिलानन्दमूर्ते घोरात् कष्टात् उद्धरास्मान् नमस्ते। श्लोकपञ्चकमेतद्यो लोकमङ्गलवर्धनम् प्रपठेन्नियतो भक्त्या श्रीदत्तप्रियो भवेत् श्रीदत्तप्रियो भवेत् श्रीदत्तप्रियो भवेत् श्रीदत्तप्रियो भवेत्। श्रीपादराजं शरणं प्रपद्ये। श्रीपाद श्रीवल्लभ चरितामृतम Chapter 9. The discussion on the fruits of karma. That day was Thursday. It was sunrise time. The hour of planet Jupiter was passing. Shri Tirumaladasa and myself were in a room in deep meditation. A fine ray of sunshine entered our room. Wonder of wonders, in that fine rays of sun, both of us saw the form of Sreepada Sreevallabha. When the sunshine entered our room, we returned to normalcy from meditation. to witness the most holy and utmost auspicious form of Sreepada Sreevallabha as a lad of 16 years is undoubtedly only on account of the generous grace of the great Lord. That splendid auspicious form gave darshana for a second and then disappeared. The chickpeas kept as an offering to the Lord turned into metallic pieces by the rays of the sun. That was amazing as well as irksome. We were worried mentally whether the appearance of the Lord was a sign of grace and whether the change of Bengal gram into metal pieces was a sign of his wrath. Then Tirumaladasa began to tell, "My child, Shankara Bhatta, this afternoon you can start for Kuruvapuram after accepting my hospitality. The permission of Lord Sri Datta is sought." In the midday on Thursday, Lord Datta would seek alms in Datta Kshetras. That is a very auspicious time. Then I said, "Sir, every day we are spending time with the recollection of Lord Sri Datta and with narrations of the episodes of Sri Datta. It is painful that the piece given as offering turned into metallic pieces. Kindly remove my doubts and make me fulfilled." Tirumaladasa began to speak thus, "My son, after some centuries, when Kali Yuga advances, atheism becomes rampant. The Lord, through various strange and astonishing miracles, destroys atheism and establishes theism. He thus blesses living beings. In the incarnation of Sripada Sreevallabha, Lord Datta grants the seed form for the programs of establishment of Dharma in future. The consciousness in metal lies in a dormant state. In metallic stage, life exists internally. Due to various chemical actions of the metals, life emerges. Mind exists in life as an inner ingredient. The consciousness in the life form is a semi-dormant state. You can see this clearly in trees. A man who consumes narcotics experiences this state in his body. The nature which expressed itself in the form of life force learns to function through mind in the developed stage attained after evolution. This state can be seen in animals. An animal after complete evolution is called man. Mind works with its total strength, but in mind, a supra-mind transcending ordinary mind exists. It lies in an internal position. Man can become a perfect man through yoga. He can activate the Kundalini force lying in Mooladhara center and take it to Sahasrara point. There, he can also achieve Savikalpa and Nirvikalpa states and experience an identical absorption with Sri Guru, who is an embodiment of supreme light. He derives undefinable bliss in that state, but he conducts himself according to the Maha Sankalpa, the great resolve. Therefore, he has no bonds of karma. The shape of that Maha Sankalpa is, however, unthinkable, unimaginable, and has an extraordinary, tremendous speed. The supramind belongs to the great Lord only. Lord Sripada accepts crores of prayers every moment. He replies to every righteous prayer which is just. He remedies the trouble. He grants every just wish. If the speed of mind of a man is the speed of a tortoise, the speed of his supramind is highly fierce and beyond thought. The speed of light is also not equal to the speed of his supramind. Even a small prayer of a man or any living being must reach his countless rays of brilliance. He is the support for all visible and invisible forces. The luster in his world is not any other, but the cluster of brilliant rays emanating from his ever-shining body only. That is the brilliance of crores and crores of suns. Even the combined brilliance of crores of stars and planets shining in crores of Brahmandas is like the light of a small candle torch before the sun. My child, this is the real and exact nature of Sripada Sreevallabha, that formless, attributeless form having infinite strength, infinite knowledge, and infinite prevalence, granted vision in a human form having qualities and shape as Sripada on account of his free and infinite compassion. To understand this, man should achieve perfection and comprehensiveness. The divine form of Sripada Sreevallabha. Just as the evolution of man towards divinity is inevitable, God also comes down to lower strata by compressing his infinite limitations. This is called incarnation. This is a continuous yogic process. When once truth is established in creation, it works naturally and effortlessly. Sripada Sreevallabha, a personification of truth, knowledge, and infinity, is a supreme divine incarnation descended with an intention to establish several divine truths in creation. He is really Lord Datta. Then I said, Sir, as I am carrying the conversation with you, many new things are unraveled. The real nature of Sripada defies comprehension. I do not know how to write this superb, glorious biography of his. I do not know with what commentaries I should write it. You said about establishing truth. I heard about establishment of images, but I did not hear about establishment of truth. Kindly explain. Then Tirumaladasa said, Dear Shankarabhatta, you are the person intended to write the hagiography of the Lord. You write the experiences of devotees of Sripada whom you come across. You record the things they tell. Your commentaries are not necessary. Shrivaru, Sripada Sreevallabha himself will get his biography written through your writing instrument. For you to think more than this is waste. Man eats various types of food. They are assimilated on their own accord and give strength to the man. In this procedure, there is no intervention or intelligence of man. The responsibility of man is limited to the acquisition of food. Afterwards, the duty of a healthy body is to internally cook it and give strength to the body. That means earning food is a duty imposed upon you. It is the duty of the body to assimilate the food eaten and render strength. As man has mind, he enjoys more freedom and there is a chance to do right or wrong. But the body has no such freedom. It must turn the food fit for assimilation and give strength to the body. That is a natural act done effortlessly regardless the likes or dislikes of the person who ate the food. It means that a duty was prescribed to the body. A truth relating to it was established. An act taking place on the principle of truth goes on automatically without our effort or will. Actions and reactions in this nature or creation happen on the basis of truth. Sunrise, sunset, seasons, and the course of planets and stars should take place like this. This is an inviolable law. Liberty was not given to them to make things happen in another way. The omnipresent Lord, having mercy on the living beings in this creation, relaxes to some extent the duties prescribed by him. In Krita Yuga, everything is achieved by mere will. In Treta Yuga, things are achieved by the performance of sacrifices and rituals. In Dwapara Yuga, they are achieved through the deployment of mantras and astras, fiery missiles used in ancient warfare. In Kali Yuga, Tantra Shastra has importance. In this Yuga, results are achieved by using machines. Simplification is introduced according to the Yuga Dharmas. As the strength and intelligence of people are diminishing, the policy of simplification was decided upon. The vision of Sripada can be obtained by relentless meditation. For those who continuously chant and meditate upon Sripada for 3 days and nights, Sripada grants darshana in flesh and blood and bless them. If man follows a lakh ways for downfall, God adopts 10 lakh paths to uplift him. Lord Sri Datta carries on his administration of this creation with his incarnations and through siddhas, yogis, avadhutas and great siddhis. There is a slight suspicion in your mind as a small seed whether this Sripada is actually Sri Datta of ancient yugas. To remove this doubt, Sripada changed the offering of peace into metal pieces. Mother Anasuya transformed metallic peace into eatable peace. He did this to remind us that he is none other than Sri Datta of yore. There is another secret meaning in this. Planet Jupiter in your horoscope is in a debilitated position. There is a relationship between planet Jupiter and Bengal gram peace. Sripada communicated to you through this indication that difficulties due to the affliction of Jupiter are in a seed form and that he changed them into metals incapable of sprouting anymore. No article enters into this creation which is not seen by Sripada in his divine mental horizon. There is no possibility for any living creature to enter into this creation without being seen by him in his divine mental horizon. This is a supreme truth. Knowledge relating to truth is well established. Therefore, there is no loss even if all the people who had that knowledge disappeared from the world. When that person who is worthy of that knowledge steps into this creation, that knowledge will itself become wedded to him. Divine powers, long-lived sages, divine incarnations belong to the phenomenon of non-destruction. Human beings belong to the phenomenon of destruction. There is no stipulation that the phenomenon of non-destruction should conform to a particular type of knowledge, position, strength, and movement. Its nature is one of freedom. It is total and complete. It is most ancient and most modern too. No action takes place without cause. For all causes and for all actions, the sole phenomenon is the basis. That is above all. That is the nature of Lord Datta. That Lord Datta incarnated for the first time in Kali Yuga with all his splendid potencies as Sripada Sreevallabha in Pithikapuram. It is impossible even for 1,000-hooded Adishesha to describe vividly such great Sripada Sreevallabha. My child, Sripada often proclaimed that he would incarnate as Sri Narasimha Saraswati. Hiranyakashipu obtained very strange boons. It appeared as if his death was impossible. Even then, without infringing the boons granted, the incarnation of Narasimha killed Hiranyakashipu in an exceedingly unimaginable manner. the great devotee Prahlada was saved. Prahlada averred that his Lord was in a pillar. Swami manifested from the pillar. In Kali Yuga, many doubts abound as to whether God is there or not. To suppress the arrogance of Kali Yuga Hiranyakashyapas and to rescue devotees like Prahlada, Lord Sri Datta incarnated. The speciality of Narasimha incarnation lies in proving the existence of God. Lord Sripada Sreevallabha and Sri Narasimha Saraswati are the two incarnations of Sri Datta who came into this universe with two important missions: to suppress the pride of those who abuse God and to protect their devotees, just like the eyelids protecting the eyes. There is nothing which is not possible for Sripada. When Tirumaladasa was narrating in this manner, a doubt crept in my mind. I was writing Sripada Srivallabha Charitamrutam on Bhurja Patra, the leaves of Indian paper birch tree. In future, on what type of material people would write this Charitamrutam? At that time, Shalivahana Shaka was running. Sripada informed that in future, English Shaka would gain prominence. When did the Niryana of Sri Krishna take place? On what date and what time did Kali Yuga commence? I would believe that Sripada Srivallabha was actually an incarnation of Datta if Sripada writes about all these things according to the calculations of time to be adopted by people in the future on a leaf to be used by them in future. I was not disclosing my above thoughts to Tirumaladasa. I was putting up postures as if I was listening to him. I was smiling and looking towards the metallic piece now and then. Suddenly, the voice of Tirumaladasa became hoarse. He lost the capacity to speak. While I was listening to the life history of Sripada, I heard a terrible deafening sound. After hearing that explosive sound, I turned profound deaf, unable to hear any sound. Oh, in a second, I became deaf and Tirumaladasa mute. Tirumaladasa was trying to tell something, but no word was coming out. I could not hear even a small sound in spite of my efforts to hear. Then I felt sorry in my mind that I got such a doubt which I should not entertain. As a result, I became deaf. Will it be a permanent disability? Oh God, what is to be done now? The offering of metallic piece formed into a sentence as Sripada RAJAM SHARANAM PRAPADHYE. In the meanwhile, the chickpeas kept for offering and turned as metallic pieces moved and stood in the shape of a sentence as Sripada RAJAM SHARANAM PRAPADHYE in Telugu language. There was a small white leaf on them. It was becoming bigger as we were seeing it. It became rectangular in shape. It was having very much low thickness than Bhurja Patra. It was smooth when touched with hands. Letters were being written in black color in a beautiful way. They were written in Telugu language and they ran like this. The demise of Sri Krishna took place during 3102 BC, 18th day of February, night at 2 hours 27 minutes 30 seconds. That was the year named Pramadi, Chaitra month, Padhyami of the first fortnight of lunar month, Friday, Ashwini star. Kali entered after the Niryana of Sri Krishna. I was perspiring profusely. All the water in my body was coming out as sweat. There was violent shaking in the body. I was certain that Sripada was invisibly present here. I thought to myself, What a misfortune! Is it a far cry for me to reach Kuravapuram? I need not be surprised even if Sripada assumes the form of Narasimha and slays me. What can I do if he orders Tirumaladasa to beat, wash and dry me like a fabric? If the Lord orders, Tirumaladasa would certainly beat me on the washing rock and hang me for drying after the wash. Some gurus who boast themselves as wise men endowed with self-knowledge, generally while imparting Brahmajnana to their disciples, shower them with plethora of praises with an eye on milking money from them. The disciple also conducts himself with haughtiness, proclaiming that he was praised by that particular guru. This sort of gurus and shishyas are both blameworthy. It was the ingenuity of Sripada that knowledge of the Supreme was taught to me born in the Brahmin caste by Tirumaladasa born in the washerman caste. Those living in the vicinity were engaged in their profession as washermen. They were not discussing such profound things, nor could they understand such matters. Whatever it was, Sripada Sreevallabha was my sole refuge. I looked at Tirumaladasa. His face was placid and shining with the luster of the Supreme. Then it occurred to my mind that Tirumaladasa was a Brahmin and myself with a sullied mind was a washerman. The offering of peace turned as metal pieces gradually returned to their original shape. I understood that Sripada pardoned me. After some time, that white sheet disappeared. Tirumaladasa said, "My son, Shankara Bhatta, this Kali Yuga is an age of metals. This age is an admixture of impurities. In compliance with the command of Sripada, I have to take birth again in Maharashtra after staying some time in Hiranyaloka following my death." Tirumaladasa said like this, "Once I took washed clothes to the house of Shripada's maternal grandfather. Then Sridhara Avadhani, uncle of Sumati Maharani, was carrying Sripada and making him play and was singing Datta Digambara, Datta Digambara, Datta Digambara Avadhuta. Then Sripada was a boy of 2 years. He was crying with joy and playing. That spectacle was very charming to behold. Then I uttered, Shripada Srivallabha Datta Digambara. Sridharavadhani looked towards me. Then Sripada said, Narasimha Saraswati Datta Digambara. Thus, Sripada taught in his own style that he himself is Sri Datta in the past. He was then in the name of Sripada Vallabha on the screen of time, and when that image fades out, he would make his appearance as Narasimha Saraswati. Samartha Sadguru to incarnate as Shirdi Sai Baba. Sripada said, Grandfather, I want to incarnate as Narasimha Saraswati in Maharashtra. I am asking Tirumaladasa also to come to Maharashtra. Sridharavadhani was dumbfounded. Then Tirumaladasa said, Swami, it is your responsibility to kindly take care of me in any place, in any form and in any birth. I have special liking for your Balakrishna form. Later, Sripada blessed me. Tirumaladasa, you would be born in Maharashtra under the name Gadge Maharaj in the washerman caste. You would become pious in the service of distressed, oppressed and miserable people. In Dhishila town, my Samartha Sadguru incarnation as Sai Baba in the garb of a Muslim will take place. Then also you would certainly obtain my grace in that incarnation of Samartha Sadguru Sainath. You have fondness for the image of Balakrishna. So you chant the name of Gopala, Gopala, Devaki Nandana Gopala, I grant you my darshana always in your mental eye. After the fall of this present body, you stay for some time in Hiranyaloka and afterwards work for the welfare of the world as Gadge Maharaj. This is my boon for you. This is my assurance. Sridharavadhani returned to normal state after some time. All this was perplexing to him. In the meantime, Sumati Maharani called her uncle. As illusion completely enveloped him, again he thought Sripada as a common boy. Then I said, Sir, I have a doubt. Shri Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita that the fruits of actions are unavoidable. How Sripada would destroy karma without violating the principles mentioned therein? The result of donations and philanthropic acts offered to Sadgurus, Satpurushas and Yogis. Tirumaladasa said, Shri Krishna said that one should experience the results of actions, but he did not specify that they should be experienced only in wakeful state. They can be experienced even in the dreaming state. A karma which has to be suffered physically with the body for 10 years can be undergone through mental anguish or mental torture in dreams for few hours. In that manner, the impact of karma can be erased. By offering services and donations to righteous people and yogis, offering services to deities also results in the diminishing of sinful acts. The images of deities are holy. When we render them services, our sin would be attached to them and their virtue is transferred to us. When we offer donations to pious people and serve them, then also this sort of transfer takes place. When we meditate upon Samartha Sadguru, this kind of exchange occurs through the medium of meditation. A Sadguru accepts services from his disciple, and through the medium of those services, he takes the sinful acts of his disciple and bestows fruits of his penance to the disciple. Someone should suffer the results of the sinful acts. However, as deities and divine incarnations are of tremendous brilliance and are personifications of blazing fire, they can burn the sinful karmas accepted by them into ashes. Even if we offer with sincerity a leaf, a fruit, or a flower to them, such transfers take place mutually between our sinful karmas and their punya. The process of transfer would be directly in proportion to the intensity of our devotion, surrender, and distress. Sometimes Sripada transfers the sinful karmas of his dependents to inanimate objects like rocks and stones. By knocking at those stones and rocks and through various strange ways, he would be destroying the results of that karma. I will tell a small episode illustrating this. Listen carefully. From the time of birth of Sripada, there was the problem of scarcity of milk. Sumati Maharani was not having sufficient milk. There was a cow in their house. For making offering to Kalagni Shamana Datta in their house, small quantity of milk was needed. That cow used to give that much small quantity of milk, but it used to give milk to its calf to full satisfaction. This was a peculiar nature. At times, Sripada used to stealthily enter the puja room and drink the small quantity of milk kept for Kalagni Shamana Datta even before the offering was made. On such days, Shri Appalaraja Sharma used to offer a small piece of jaggery as Naivedya, an offering to God, to Lord Datta, and he used to observe fast on that day. When her husband was fasting, Sumati Maharani also was on fast. In case he waited up to the time of Naivedya, Sreepada alone used to drink that milk. The parents were very much miserable that they could not afford to give sufficient milk to that rare divine child born in their family. Painda Venkatappaya Shreshthi and Narasimhavarma tried many a time to donate a cow which gave abundant milk. All their attempts were in vain. Appalaraja Sharma would not accept donations under any circumstances. That was his vow. He was of the opinion that acceptance of donation would bring sin. As he was a Vedic scholar, he used to accept rewards presented in Vedic conferences. His income from priesthood was very meager. He was conducting priesthood only to Painda Venkatappaya Shreshthi and Sri Narasimhavarma. When those two persons offered more money than what was normally given to other priests, Appalaraja Sharma used to resent such gestures. Shri Appalaraja Sharma was not accepting anything even from his father-in-law Satyarishishvara. The birthday of Sumati Maharani occurred on Kartika Purnima. Only on that day, he was dining in the house of Bapanarya. In the same way, on Vaishakha Shuddha Tritiya, which was his birthday, he used to take meals in the house of his father-in-law. In course of time, he was taking meals on Ganesha Chaturthi also in the house of his father-in-law, as it was the day of Sripada Jayanti. Thinking about the miserable state of the family, Sumati Maharani one day said to her husband, "My parents are well-to-do people. In addition, they are orthodox people observing strict spiritual discipline. I do not find anything wrong in accepting a cow from the wealthy family of our Malladi parents. We are not in a position to give enough milk to Sripada. I submit that you may consider this matter carefully." Then Appalaraja Sharma replied, "Saubhagyavati, what you said is right. As Satya Rishishwara is unblemished of sin, no fault is committed if a cow is accepted from him. But the approval of Dharma Shastra, scripture dealing with ethical principles and regulations about this matter, is essential. Many great personages said that Sripada is an incarnation of Datta. Many astonishing things are happening from the time preceding his birth up to this time. If this is the new incarnation of Datta, the cow in our house must give abundant milk, or you must have sufficient milk. Not only that, our eldest son Sridhara Raja Sharma is blind, and the younger son Ramaraja Sharma is lame. Sripada could free both of them from the physical disabilities. You discuss this matter with your father or ask Sripada himself. But it is not proper for God to create a complicated problem all the way to violate my vow." Sumati Maharani submitted this matter to her father. Bapanarya smiled and said, "My dear, all this is the play of Sripada. Sripada is skillful not only in solving problems, he is skillful in creating problems also. I noticed through yogic vision that Sripada is Lord Datta. We got number of cows in our house. To give one cow, I am not only agreeable but also feel extremely happy. Lord Datta very much likes cow's milk. The approval of Dharma Shastra is also necessary as told by your husband. Oh, what an irony of fate! In this world, there are countless sons-in-law who attempt in several methods to grab the wealth of their father-in-law. But my son-in-law stands equal to a blazing fire. We become fools if we attempt to break his vow. Unless he receives clear permission from all the 5 primary elements of creation, your husband would not accept this donation of cow. If Sripada relieves his 2 brothers from physical handicaps, his bond of indebtedness with your family gets severed. Datta, who is freed from debt, cannot remain as a child in your house. He leaves the house as a world teacher to uplift the world. Therefore, don't request Sripada even by mistake to remove the physical disability of his brothers. Everything is subservient to time. That time is under the control of Sripada. If Sripada wills, you would get plenty of milk. But the link of indebtedness with him will be lost to you. When once he is redeemed of debt, Lord Datta would not limit himself to our family. He escapes from the house to assume the role of a preceptor of the universe. If Sripada desires, the cow in your house would produce adequate milk and give milk properly, abandoning its peculiar nature. Then this problem would not rise at all. Therefore, have patience for some time. Lord Datta, who created this naughty problem, will himself solve it. Then Shankara Bhatta asked, Sir, what is the reason for the brothers of Sripada to be born with physical defects? Are there any hereditary lapses of karma relating to the family? Then Tirumaladasa said, My child, Sri Dattatraya incarnated in the evening dusk. Sripada incarnated during the dawn. The ensuing incarnation of Sri Narasimha Saraswati will take place during midday in the Abhijit Lagna. The sportive plays of Datta are profound. Darkness spreads after dusk. Living beings remain in sleepy condition. Therefore, the incarnation of Datta assumes full responsibility for the process of development in the yogic endeavors and allows the living creatures to enjoy comfortable sleep. It is thick darkness, and people do not know in what direction to proceed, what to do, how to move, and in which direction in the process of evolution. The significance of Datta incarnation is to achieve evolution and development in people without those people being aware of it. Living beings, without any effort on their part or with little effort, traveled towards spiritual evolution from the deepest recesses of inner consciousness in methods unknown to them. This is not limited to the earth only. Sripada arrived during dawn. During dawn, all the powers of Sun God shine forth at once and purify all creatures. Their soul is a replica of Sun. This indicates the development in infinite variety of several powers awoke and dancing in different courses. The midday sun is the form of a fierce and terrible raging fire. The purpose of incarnation of Sri Narasimha Saraswati is to make solar soul to scatter abundantly and freely with complete powers and awaken all living beings. These matters relate to his consciousness that spread all over the universe. Between the incarnation of Datta and the incarnation of Sripada Sreevallabha, a long black night intervened. That was entirely an embodiment of greater gloom. Representing that, the elder brother Sridhara Raja Sharma was born. After the elapse of dark period, there was advent of another state during which doubts, atheistic arguments, tricky logics, perverted commentaries prevailed. Representing that, younger brother Sri Ramaraja Sharma was born. Any living creature who shuns inertia which equals greater darkness, who rises above mental instability comprising of misleading arguments, doubts, and perverse comments, definitely derives the grace of Sripada. This is the secret in this. These matters concern the evolution of living beings in the universe. There were certain mistakes in the actions of the family in the past. Even though Sri Appalaraja Sharma belonged to the sect of Vaidika Velanati Brahmin, their family had the headmanship of the village. The name of the paternal grandfather of Sripada was Sridhara Ramaraja Sharma. It was the custom for Brahmins having administrative powers over the village to affix the title Raja to their names. The word Sharma denotes that the individual is a Brahmin. Sridhara Ramaraja Sharma is the village officer of Ainavilli village. In their family, the eldest son would get the headmanship of the village. Taxes had to be paid to the zamindars irrespective of the fact whether there was a good yield of crops or a failure of crops, and it was the responsibility of the village officer to collect taxes under coercion. Therefore, Sridhara Ramaraja Sharma had to collect taxes through violent means in compliance with the orders of the zamindar without having any regard to his personal likes and dislikes. That was his duty and dharma, but it became a sinful act in the eyes of God. The headmanship devolved to the eldest brother of Sri Appalaraja Sharma. On account of the sinful acts of their grandfather, Shripada's eldest brother Sridhara Raja Sharma and the elder brother Ramaraja Sharma were born with congenital physical defects. Even though Sripada Sreevallabha was verily the incarnation of Lord Datta, he also had to suffer from the influence of the small sinful acts of his grandfather. That was why he had to face the shortage of milk. The Lord of the universe will apply the regulations formulated by him to all. Sripada showed us the way by way of suffering the effects of karma by him also, even though he came as an incarnation. Shri Painda Venkatappaya Shreshthi and Shri Vatsavai Narasimhavarma regarded Sripada as their own grandson. So, they thought for a long while how to solve the problem of milk troubling Sripada. Shri Varma called Shri Shreshthi and requested him to hit upon a plan to solve the problem. There were some cows born to a well-known cow called Gayatri in the custody of Shri Narasimhavarma. Shri Shreshthi bought from Shri Varma one cow having all auspicious qualities. Varma kept the sole proceeds carefully with him. In the meanwhile, Shri Appalaraja Sharma came to the house of Shri Varma for performing priestly duties. Shri Varma gave the money received by the sale of the cow to Shri Appalaraja Sharma on the occasion. That amount was disproportionately large compared to the normal honorarium given to priests for similar functions. Shri Appalaraja Sharma took out of that amount what was justly due to him and rejected the rest of the amount. Then Shri Varma also refused to take back that rejected amount. He said that as a noble Kshatriya, he would not accept back the amount he had once donated. This dispute was referred to Shri Bapanarya. The council of Brahmins was convened. Shri Bapanarya announced in the meeting, anyone who wishes to take the amount rejected by Appalaraja Sharma can do so. Many Brahmins competed with each other to claim that amount. It was all an abnormal, obstinate matter. Then a youth named Papaya Shastri said, Sripada is not an incarnation of God. If he is God, why should this strange condition come to pass? If he is Datta, why he did not save his two brothers from physical infirmity? Certain incidents took place at random. To blow them out of proportion is a crime. I am a devotee of Datta. I also obtained Shvetarka Raksha from my preceptor. Daily, I am doing good amount of japa. No taint would stick to me even if I accept any donation. That amount may be given to me as I am worthy of it. The council of Brahmins got the money given to Papaya Shastri. With that amount, one good cow can be purchased. Papaya Shastri went to his house after the meeting with the pride of victory. Then his uncle was in his house. A formal discussion was held between them. Papaya requested his uncle to dine. The uncle replied that he would take meals once in a year and that it was not possible for him to take meals then in his nephew's house. Saying so, he immediately left. After his uncle left, Papaya sat completely absorbed in thought. His wife came and asked, "Sir, this uncle who came now closely resembled your own uncle who died last year, is it not?" Papaya was aghast. He was having only one uncle who died last year. Then, who was that new uncle? In what an illusion his intellect was entangled! Even though he was having some other people who were uncles in some other ways of relationship, none of them resembled him exactly in all respects. Had he seen the dead soul of his uncle? His heart began to beat violently. He was not having any connection through mantras and tantras with devils and demons. Had he fallen from the grace of Sri Datta who was being worshipped by him? Was the coming time a bad one? The words of his uncle while departing from the house, "I hope you will meet me shortly," began to torment his mind in various ways. Was he going to meet his uncle in the next world after dying shortly? His heart became heavy. He chanted the mantra Om Dram Dattaraaya Namaha. He could not carry on the meditation with single-minded devotion. He went to Sri Kukuteshwara temple to see Swayambhu Datta. He began to meditate upon Datta. In that meditation, he saw Lord Datta without a head. When he started to do japa, his mind was vacillating. The prasada given by the priest appeared to have been dipped in a jar filled with poison. The priest was laughing and telling something, but Papaya Shastri heard a message that he would die soon after eating the prasada. When Papaya returned home, he did not find the vermilion mark on the forehead of his wife. He thundered at his wife why she removed the vermilion mark even when he was alive. She wondered as to why her husband was rebuking her even when she had a big vermilion mark as big as a rupee coin. Propaganda that Papaya lost his mental balance gained speed. Pithikapuram was full of rumors, criticisms and canards. Psychological treatment and treatment through sorcery was given to Papaya. He was saying that he was not mad and all that he was telling was true. People there were discussing amongst themselves that a lunatic also would sometimes speak logically. The wife of Papaya had a good idea. She thought that this was the result of the bad deed of her husband who abused Sripada out of ignorance. It occurred to her that it was better to seek refuge of living Sripada shining with divine luster than to bow before speechless stone images of deities. She went to the house of Sripada. She took the boy in her arms and kissed him. When they were alone, she narrated her dismal state to him. Sripada said, "Aunt, all this will subside with a small adjustment. As you are like my mother, I am telling you the secret. You construct a new house without any delay. When you and uncle enter the new house after performing Vastu Puja, everything will become steady." She did not divulge this information to anyone. She convinced her people, saying that the troubles plagued them because they resided in a rented house and that they must construct their own house immediately. Someone gave a forsaken pit as a donation of land to Papaya. It was immediately filled up with great labor and expense. For the construction of the new house, all the money, gold, and valuables in the house were spent. Some amount was also borrowed. Mountain rocks were brought. They were broken into pieces and were used in the construction of the house. Papaya became healthy as soon as they entered the new house. Dear Shankara Bhatta, the period of impending death was running for Papaya. Sreepada rescued him from the predicament of untimely death. He was subjected to mental agony, dishonor, monetary loss, and other troubles, and the accumulated karma was destroyed. Not only that, the evil karma of Papaya was attracted into the hilly rocks, and by breaking them into small pieces, the karma of Papaya was destroyed. The methods employed by Siddhas and Avadhutas would be very strange. Sripada said to Papaya, who regained health, "What a fool you are! You have no head. When Datta, whom you worship sincerely, is before you in human form as Sripada, you are an unfortunate fellow who could not recognize him. You believed that the rocky Datta image in Kukuteshwara temple is your savior. I am Datta, who attracted your heaps of sins into the hilly boulders and got them broken into fragments, and thereby erased your karma. I also granted you a new house. If you had reposed faith in this living Datta in human form, I would have attracted all your evil tendencies unto my body and saved you by nullifying your karma. The fruits of grace of God would depend upon the mental disposition of the devotee. After this Leela of Sripada Sreevallabha, Papaya recognized him as an incarnation of Datta. The problem of milk for Sripada was causing trouble to Sri Shreshthi and Sri Varma. They approached Sri Satya Rishishwara and said, "O Rajarshi, like King Janaka, you are a Brahmagnani absorbed in the Supreme even when leading a worldly life. Ours is a small submission. You have to approve it." For that, Bapanarya replied, "How can I express my approval without knowing the submission? You tell me the matter without any hesitation. If it satisfies the principles of Dharma, I will certainly approve it." Then Sri Shreshthi said, "I purchased from Sri Varma a good featured cow belonging to the progeny of Gayatri. I want to give it to our family priest Sri Appalaraja Sharma. If that cow's milk is used for the service of Sripada, we feel extremely happy. Nothing more than that is desired by us." On hearing the words of Shreshthi, Sri Bapanarya said, all right. Send that mother cow to our house. I will try to give it to Appalaraja. Stay of that auspicious cow in the house of Sri Appalaraja is specially beneficial both to the donor and the acceptor." The mother cow was brought to the house of Sri Bapanarya. Sri Appalaraja Sharma refused to accept it as a donation. In Himalayas, there was an area called Shatopatha. From that area only, Dharmaraja and others ascended to heaven. A great person by name Sri Satchidananda Avadhuta was there. His age was some centuries. He was the disciple of Sri Vishveshwara Prabhu. He was residing at Kaivalya Shringa. Sri Vishveshwara Prabhu ordered Sri Satchidananda Avadhuta that he incarnated as Sripada Sreevallabha in Pithikapuram and that Sri Satchidananda should see his childhood form and feel exalted. Sri Avadhuta visited Pithikapuram. Sri Bapanarya cordially welcomed him. He saw Lord Datta in the form of Sripada Sreevallabha and was gratified. The problem of paucity of milk was brought before him. Sri Avadhuta emphatically said that Appalaraja Sharma should accept the donation of cow and that Sripada was verily Lord Datta himself, and that with useless restrictions, the magnificent service of providing milk to Lord Datta should not be lost. The Council of Brahmins demanded evidence to establish that Sripada was Datta. The Avadhuta said that he would give evidence through the 5 primordial elements, the 5 fundamental elements giving evidence that Sripada himself was Dattaraaya. The sacrifice commenced. Mother Earth gave evidence. As Sripada was Sri Datta, it was not wrong for Appalaraja Sharma to accept the donation of cow. That which was given with love by the father-in-law to his son-in-law could not be counted as a donation. Therefore, Sri Satyarishishvara could take it as a donation from Shreshthi and he could give it as a gift to his son-in-law. This was the statement of Mother Earth. After the yajna started, it was raining all around except in the place of yajna. This was accepted as a second evidence. God of Fire personally took the offerings in the yajna and explained the donation of cow was not wrong. This was accepted as third testimony. The wind evidently shook with terrible speed all the remaining area except the venue of sacrifice. This was regarded as the fourth evidence. A divine voice from the sky announced that Sripada was in reality Lord Datta himself. After accepting the testimonies from the 5 primordial elements, Appalaraja Sharma accepted the donation of cow. The fruits of cow donation accrued to Sri Shreshthi. Therefore, it was decided that the price of cow would be given by Narasimhavarma to Sri Appalaraja. In this manner, in the presence of Sri Avadhuta, a rare meritorious virtue became available to Sri Shreshthi and to Sri Vatsavai Varma. In future, Vayasapura Agraharam, which will be called Kokanada, that is Kakinada, Shyamalambapura, Samarlakota, and Sri Pithikapuram amalgamate and develop into mega city. People from all countries in the world, people from all races and all traditions will come to Pithikapuram in any birth, on any day, and will have the darshana of Sri Swami. The biography of Sripada, written in Sanskrit, titled as Sripada Srivallabha Charitamrutam, would receive the blessings of Sripada Srivallabha. That volume of Bhurjapatra would be kept buried in an invisible form, many fathoms deep underground in the birthplace of Sri Sripada, according to the will of Sri Sripada. His padukas would be installed and a temple constructed in his birthplace. Sri Painda Venkatappaya Shreshthi, an eminent affluent merchant who would donate a cow to Sripada, was indeed a very virtuous person. His life became an illustrious one. There would be no dearth of wealth and no pelf in their family. He would stay for some time in Hiranyaloka, and after that, he would take birth in Maharashtra in a very wealthy Vaishya family and witness the incarnation of Sri Narasimha Saraswati also. My child, Shankara Bhatta, this episode of donation of cow is indeed very auspicious. You can proceed to Kuravapuram. May Sripada Sreevallabha protect you always. Victory! Victory to Sripada Sreevallabha! Here ends the 9th chapter of Sripada Sreevallabha Charitamrutam. मुखी तुझे नाम राहो सदा दत्तराया. मुखी तुझे नाम राहो सदा दत्तराया. कृपा दृष्टी आम्हावरी असो देवराया. कृपा दृष्टी आम्हावरी असो देवराया. असो देवराया. मुखी तुझे नाम राहो सदा दत्तराया. मुखी तुझे नाम राहो सदा दत्तराया. असो देवराया. तिन्ही लोकी देवा तुझा असे रे निवास. तिन्ही लोकी देवा तुझा असे रे निवास. कृपा लाभता भक्ताला एक तुझा ध्यास. कृपा लाभता भक्ताला एक तुझा ध्यास. नको स्वार्थ दत्ताता नको मोह माया. नको स्वार्थ दत्ताता नको मोह माया. नको मोह माया. मुखी तुझे नाम राहो सदा दत्तराया. मुखी तुझे नाम राहो सदा दत्तराया. असो देवराया. अनसूयेदारी जीवा तिन्ही देवाले. अनसूयेदारी जीवा तिन्ही देवाले. ब्रह्मा महेश विष्णू तिन्ही बाळ झाले. ब्रह्मा महेश विष्णू तिन्ही बाळ झाले. पित्या विण लाभे तुझला नवा जन्म देवा. पित्या विण लाभे तुझला नवा जन्म देवा. नवा जन्म देवा. मुखी तुझे नाम राहो सदा दत्तराया. मुखी तुझे नाम राहो सदा दत्तराया. असो देवराया. दयावंत तू भगवंता आहे रे महान. दयावंत तू भगवंता आहे रे महान. तुझी भक्ती करिता देवा होशी रे प्रसन्न. तुझी भक्ती करिता देवा होशी रे प्रसन्न. पदिळी न झालो आता असू द्यावी छाया. पदिळी न झालो आता असू द्यावी छाया. असू द्यावी छाया. मुखी तुझे नाम राहो सदा दत्तराया. मुखी तुझे नाम राहो सदा दत्तराया. कृपा दृष्टी आम्हावरी असो देवराया. कृपा दृष्टी आम्हावरी असो देवराया. असो देवराया. मुखी तुझे नाम राहो सदा दत्तराया. मुखी तुझे नाम राहो सदा दत्तराया, मुखी तुझे नाम राहो सदा दत्तराया.